Hey guys, we are so excited that we have a great inspiring stories for you guys today. We have Julie Demas here from our state side of California to talk a little bit about God's Your Schools, and we have the infamous Worship Dongo all the way from Uganda, Africa. This is the greatness of technology that we're all going to get to talk a little bit today and tell you some things that are going on in Africa. We are super excited. So welcome everybody. Glad you guys are on. Yes. Well, Worship, I want to start with a few questions for you. Man, I know it's COVID, and I want to talk a little bit about, while we start, what's going on there. What is it like for you guys right now? Are y'all still on lockdown? What are all of the kids doing right now?
Okay, right now we are still under lockdown, but they have released, it's coming to 3 months when schools are closed. But we thank God that God is protecting and He's providing. Right now we have been doing food distribution to our families where our children are. Some of the children are with their uncles, aunties, some are with their parents, some are with the church friends, some are living at mom's place. So we are able to track most of the kids, and we are able to distribute food during this time. We are so glad that we can now move to do the food distribution. By then we couldn't do that, and we were also worried, and we are so glad that we can go and visit the families, see the kids and encourage them. And I'm so thankful to our teachers who are coming up with work. So children are still studying even at home. We are still following up on their studying. So we are so grateful for that.
So what were they, before you were able to distribute the food, what were they doing for food, and were the kids all able to get some food?
Not all of them were able to get some food. We could receive phone calls of families who needed food, and we couldn't do a lot about it because we were not allowed to move. And whenever we had limited time, even for the borders, you could send, maybe take food to this. They had limited time. They had a number of hours to travel. So it was so sad. And we got to some families, like a family of 9 children, and they haven't had a meal a day. And sometimes they could just have one meal. The following day, they don't have anything. But it's so exciting just to go there, sit with them, give them food, talk to them, encourage them. And by the way, some of these areas were affected by the floods. It rained a lot during this period. Bukasa was affected by floods. Kids had to move from family to family, and we are so thankful that they got a place where they can share with other families. And it has been crazy, so many things at once.
So,
but we are thankful God is protecting.
We were talking to you earlier, and so just so people here in America know, in Uganda, y'all been affected for COVID just like us, only it's a little bit different. Y'all, correct me if I'm wrong, y'all weren't able to drive for the last 2 months. You haven't been able to car? No, 2 months? And so do all of the kids have access to internet? Are they teachers able to Zoom online or text kids? How are the kids getting their schoolwork? How are y'all able to make that happen?
Okay, here we don't have Zoom. Not all families have internet, especially our families. Most of them don't have internet. So what we do, we get a central place like the church. We put their work so that kids walk up to the church to pick work, and we can tell, maybe, thanks, you go to this area. We get a key person in that area. We tell them to distribute to the various families around. Now with the moving, all that is easy. But when we weren't moving, everything was stuck for 2 months.
So just a second ago, you said some were staying at your mom's house. I'm wondering if they don't have family, the kiddos, because they can't be at school, if they're true orphans. How do you find a place for them?
Some of them, they stay with my mom. Some of them stay with like church friends. So we get people who can help and stay with them, and we take care of those families where they're staying. Some of them actually are still at the school. We have like families in the school compound. So that's what we are doing for now. Staying at mom's place. They don't have families where to go. And others, even if you send them back to their families, they have nothing to feed them.
Right. I have to say the most moving thing that I see about the Ugandan people is they are willing to take in extended family members, neighbors, and you were talking about sharing. And even though they may only have enough food for a day or two, they're going to share whatever they have. There's no greed. It's an incredible testament to the Ugandan people.
Yeah, that's it. They look out for each other.
Yes, I love that. And that, that's kind of, it's not so much here. I got to be honest with you. So that's super moving. Is there anything else that we can do on the state side to support you? Caroline was just telling you that we're having a Ugandan run coming up. We're doing a virtual one that we raised money. Tell them a little bit about that.
Yeah, so we're doing a 5K run for kids. The registration's closed, but you can always still donate. And we were able to raise about $2,000, which is going to feed about 100 families for a few weeks in Uganda. And so that's something that worship I'd love to hear about. Worship and the Dongo family have been working really hard on sponsorship money, any extra food that they've had, they've been giving it to the kids that are sponsored by the schools, which I believe there's around 2,000 children. Is that correct? Yeah, that's a lot of kids.
It's a lot of kids.
Yeah, that they've been trying to track to make sure they're doing okay. And I was emailing some sponsors and telling them that everyone knows the Dongos and they have your number and they're contacting you and letting you know if they have a need, and if you are able to make it possible, y'all are delivering groceries to them. So I saw some video that I'll attach below, but Worship, will you talk about kind of where what the groceries kind of look like, and talk about where Ezra's driving to and delivering that?
Okay, we have been to Bukasta, we have been to Mitiana, we have been to Jinja, Kangulumila. Those who have been there know how far it is. And we have been in Nabtiti. Next weekend, we are going to drive 4 hours from Kampala. It's going to be past Jinja because we have around very many families there, and we are planning for that. What we are doing like 10 kilograms of posho, you can call it corn flour. Then we are doing rice, 5 kilograms. We are doing beans. We are doing matoke, bananas, and families are so excited to have matokes at their home. So we are doing soap because they are telling us to wash our hands. We have to wash our hands. And actually, these families don't have soap. So we are doing soap. We are also doing sugar. Yes, that's what we are doing basically.
That's amazing. So one thing that me and Mary love about Worship is she is all about the details, and we 100% trust Worship. When we send money over, she's the one we send it to, and she knows where it's all going, and she's 100% accountable for it. So that's something we were excited to introduce you all to Worship. So I guess the next thing that we wanted to talk about was the kids at the school. So outside of COVID, hopefully they're going to be back in school in September. That's a big prayer right now. I know it. Prayers. So can you talk a little bit about the school system and about the kids going to university? And one thing that a sponsor had asked me and Mary was about the girls and what happens to them in Uganda. Do they get to dream and do whatever they want? Do they have to stay at home? Can they go to university?
What's the culture like?
Yes, what's that like for them?
Yeah, then in the days of my parents, girls used to just stay home, cook, and do all that. But this generation is all about girl empowerment. And we encourage them, if you want to be a doctor, why not? If you want to be an engineer, why not? You can do anything. Anything that men can do, we can also do it. So we, after high school, if they have performed really well and their sponsors are willing to push them to college or university or any trade school, they go and study. And we have got girls who have passed through Buyamba who have become engineers and they are working for great companies here in Uganda. We have got nurses and doctors out of it. We have got tailors. We have got teachers, and they actually come back to God Cares and teach. We have got administrators. So it just doesn't end at God Cares High School. It goes all the way up to university, and it's so exciting when we see them graduate.
That's wonderful. One more question for you, and then we'll go to Julie and ask some technical questions. But Worship, I know right outside your work window is Mom Village over there. So we've been working as a church, sending money for that, preparing for that. We're getting super close.
Yes.
Done, and we actually have some money to send, but y'all been on lockdown, so we were kind of waiting.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about your dream for that and for Mom Village and what you will be using that for.
Yeah. When we went to visit, especially during the time when we went to visit families who have lost their homes because of the floods and all that, we were talking with Peter the other time, and we were like, that's why we need Mom's Village. We really need it, because after all this is done, where they move to, will they be willing to carry them on for the next years? Just know people have lost jobs. They no longer work. Our mother, who was maybe cooking food in town to provide for their family, they no longer do it. Now people at home, so they have lost jobs. These ladies have lost jobs. That's why we really, really need the Moms Village, so that we can move in some of these ladies inside there, help what's our dream is, move them in, give them skills, they get jobs. Once they can take care of their families, we're just empowering them, supporting them for 2 years. Get on your feet, go out there, work, and take care of your family. Then we get another family. It's going to be like a rotation, building them spiritually, making sure that they look up to God in everything they can do, teaching them accounts, how they can be accountable with their money, not just spend it all the time. Here in Uganda, people love spending. They don't think about they don't think about the future and saving. And yes, we need to educate them in that. You have to save for your family. It's not all about today. There is a future. And I know that with Mom Village, we will be able to reach so many families that need a home to stay and all the skills to learn.
Yeah. Yes. And I love y'all's vision for that. And of course, it was just near and dear to the Met's heart, is just to help women to have a place to come, to be safe, to receive food, and like you said, to teach them spiritually, their identity in Christ, and then importantly as well, to move on and to get a job and not just stay there forever, but it's short term. Let's get them some skills. And I love that y'all already have in mind some ways to do that as well. So Worship, I know you've grown up there. Tell us a little bit about how long you have been at the school and just your heart for the kids.
Yes, I've been working at the school ever since, I think, 2007. That's when I officially started working with the school. I was done with my high school, and my dad was like, you come on board and start working. I love kids. I love helping. I look at a child and I just feel they have a future in this world. It's not all about the situation that is happening right now. And if you can change that now, their future will be good. I love so many kids. At home, I used to bring so many children at home. Oh, Daddy, this one has lost the parents. We need to take care of them. They are alone. And seeing a smile on the kid's face seeing them happy, seeing them become responsible in this world, seeing them making better of their families and changing their families, it gives me joy and satisfaction inside my heart. And I know I've achieved everything I've ever wanted. I just love kids. I just wish all of us get the same opportunity in this world.
Yes, we agree. And I've seen you, I've been there enough with you and seen you give your own food away at lunch to say, you know, they haven't eaten. I'm giving away my food. I know your dad that showed you kids that literally to give away what you have to help others. And it's just so inspiring. We love you so much. We're praying for you. We're praying for the schools. And I just know there's great things ahead for you guys. But stay on. You can stay on there with us in case Julie has another question. But before we go, Julie, Demas, tell us a little bit about your role. You're on the state side, the California side, and how you support Buyamba and the God Cares arm.
Thank you. Thanks so much, Mary and Caroline. It's so fun to listen to worship. I cannot get enough of it. And it's so nice to have her with us this morning. And I love hearing her describe her heart for kids, because it's truly something that we experience when we go over to God Cares. God Cares is a special place, and Buyamba, Uganda in the U.S. was created just to support that effort to disciple and to educate as many kids as possible, and to do it well, and to let it grow organically, and to partner with sponsors and donors who have that vision that they want to impact Uganda. This is how you do impact Uganda. You reach out to the kids, and we're all about supporting the kids. So when you sponsor a child and you work with us, we send the money over to Uganda, directly over there, and they use it to educate, to pay for tuition, to pay for uniforms, to pay for food. It's a very vibrant community. It's very, for those of you that have gone over there, and I know a bunch of Met people have gone over there, which is amazing, you know that the child that you're sponsoring is on the ground. You meet your child, you get a letter from your child, you get photos for your child. And those of you that don't get to go over, we still try to get you pictures and letters, because it's about relationship. We've always been about relationship. And our mission is to love and to offer hope and a future in partnering with God Cares and with worship and the whole Dongo community there that has grown this up since the beginning. It's a partnership that is beautiful. It's of God, and it just keeps growing. And it's so beautiful, even to watch in this COVID situation where there's struggles. It's just amazing to see the faithfulness of our sponsors and donors. And some people are calling like, give me another kid to sponsor, because I know maybe somebody else has lost their job. Those are the kind of phone calls we get. So it's just been beautiful to watch. And as always, again, we do follow his lead on everything, because we want to be in tandem with what's happening in Uganda. We are always in communication with the Dongos and making sure that our partnership is solid and hitting the mark in all things, so that we basically exist in the United States to support their efforts.
Julie, talk a little bit about, and just in case we have some people watching who are not sponsors, talk a little bit about how much does it cost to sponsor? What exactly does that cover? Because it's school, but it's also, some of them go home. It gets a little confusing. Yeah. So you can explain it so clearly. So tell our people, and if somebody wants to sponsor a child, they can just go on the website and do that as well.
And side note on that, while you're talking, there's numbers and letters like P1 and S2. Can you explain what that is too?
Oh gosh. Okay. All right. So first, as far as the sponsorship, it's $35 a month. And again, that we have an educational sponsorship for a child. So any student that is going to the school, there's almost 2,000 kids, whether that's high school or primary, they need an educational sponsor. That's going to cover all their tuition, the supplies they need, the uniforms, the food, all of that. Some of the kids actually board at the school, so they live at the school 24/7. So with those children, we have also a residential sponsor. And so that covers their food needs, their anything that they would need, you know, with food, housing, and the staff that it takes to do that. And that's $35 a month. So a child would possibly have 2 sponsors if they're a boarder. Some people like to sponsor both, and that would be $70 a month. But regardless, the one-to-one sponsorship that we set up with the kids is key, because again, we're about relationship. So when you sign up to sponsor, you are connected to one child, and that's your child. And that child will know that you're the sponsor, and they'll write you letters, and they'll start to be super excited knowing that there's someone across the sea that just loves on them and is praying for them. As far as the financials, it works similarly to a family. You know, dad makes money, mom and dad make money. They go to the grocery store for all the kids in the family. That's how it works. So once a child is in God Cares, a child will never be asked to leave as far as financial reasons, because we cover all the kids. So again, you're tied emotionally, relationally to one child, and your financials go to supporting the whole effort of feeding all these children. So it's kind of amazing how it works. And God stretches the dollars like crazy. And we just watch, and we can't believe that what the Dongos are able to do with what we send over. Again, because of the faithfulness of the donors here. As far as the P1 and P7 and S2, there's 2 schools. There's a primary school, nursery, God Cares nursery and primary school. And when you start with P1, it would be like 1st grade, P2, 2nd grade, all the way up to P7, which is around 7th grade level. And the children are in what's called a candidate class, where they have to test out to go to high school. So there's a national test that they have to take at the end of P7 to go to the secondary school, thus S1, S2, S3, S4. And it actually goes at S4, they have to take another test, which will allow them to go to upper levels of high school, which is S5 and S6. Then they have another national test that they take, and an A-level test, and they'll be it'll be determined whether they're eligible for college or trade school. We encourage our kids to, since they're little, like we do with our children here in the United States, you know, what do you dream to be? What would you see yourself doing? What do you love to do? What do you dream about doing? And so we encourage them to think about university, to think about trade school, to think about what they might want to do. Maybe they want to be a business owner. What would it take to be that? So that's part of our education, is completing that. So as worship said, it doesn't stop at high school. It goes on. And a sponsor might say, well, gosh, I can't pay for university, thinking about the US prices, but really it really takes about 3 sponsorships to get a child through school. So even if a sponsor just stays at their $35 a month, we can work with that. We work on trying to get grants and other ways to fill in what a child would need to accomplish their dreams. So it's just really an amazing process, and I'm so blessed to be a part of it. And I feel like I get to be on this beautiful thing, on this beautiful adventure that God's doing with the sponsors and donors and churches, because it's so nice, as the Met has done, to see churches get behind and understand the dream of what we're doing there, and to dream like you guys have done with the mom's village. Like you've dreamed that up, and you've partnered with them, knowing that that's a need there, and how beautiful that is to see God hit the mark in what he has planned for that place. Just beautiful.
Julie, will you tell a little bit of the school numbers, just so they kind of know how many we're talking about?
Well, we're about 900 in the primary and about 900 something in the high school. So we're pushing 2,000 now, which is just crazy. We started this in California in 2006, and there was 400 kids that were sponsored. So it's just crazy to see what God's done.
Well, we are just so honored to get to be on this journey with you guys. And as a church, our church is always asking me how y'all are doing, and you're not alone. And
Thank you.
Worship on a text late in the night sometimes, don't we, Worship? And I'm just telling her that we love her. Hang tight. We're with you. You're not alone. And even though sometimes it might seem that you're a world away now with technology, y'all are so close. And we're just thankful for the pictures we get, for the school grades we get that we're writing back telling our kids, okay, you need to try harder. They're
Exactly.
telling us you need to try harder. We understand. So I just want to say we love you. We're praying for you. And Caroline and I were talking today of we're super sad because we should be there in about a day. But we know COVID shut some things down, but he's not shutting down what you guys are doing in ministering to families. You can't do that. So thank you for being the hands and feet of Jesus and letting us on this side just be a little part of it and how we can. So thanks for sharing your heart. We'll do this again. We'll come back on and do an update soon and see once COVID is over what you guys need and what's going on. So Caroline's our millennial here will attach all the links, how to just sign on to the Beyond. If somebody's listening who's not sponsoring a kid that says, oh, I could do $35. That's like what, 2 Starbucks now, I say all the time.
Yeah, right.
Just to help. We're just called to reach to the ends of the earth, and that's what Scripture talks about. And we talk about that a lot as a church. And we want to support our community, and we do. We have a huge food pantry here, and we just did a huge blood drive, and we do a ton to be a part of this community. But the Great Commission calls us to also go to the ends of the earth and to be God's hands and feet there. And we're glad to get to do it in person when we get to, but we don't have to be in person. We know that. So love you guys. Thank y'all for joining us. And
thank you.
Keep praying. See you soon. Love you.
Thanks.